the players that got moved today, Malika, there were some nice players in there. And this may have been there was no star.
Yep.
There was no all-star. There might have been not a top 3 guy on a great team moved today. So still those moves are important. The thing I'm looking at is why didn't Denver shore up their... I don't know why nobody talks about Denver. Are we allowed to talk about Denver?
Go ahead.
Because they're the defending
champs. We should be.
Defending champs. I think they're the favorite. I wish they had added a Royce O'Neal. I think Phoenix's Royce O'Neal move was big. We haven't talked about that. If I was Denver, I would have done a lot to get like a Finney Smith or Royce O'Neal. I think they're that player away from winning a championship again, from repeating. And so not having the Bruce Brown or Jeff Green from last year, Denver relying on a pretty young bench. I'm kind of surprised, unless they've got some notion of a buyout player coming in, and maybe that's the plan. I'm surprised they didn't shore up their bench a little bit, because I would say right now, Denver's the favorite to win the championship. I think they're the best player with Embiid.
Yes,
with Embiid.
No, they not. It's the Clippers.
Oh.
Why Leonard Jordan?
Okay, well,
I
don't think the Clippers can guard Jokic at all.
No one can.
But Bob, they stacked up at the center position for a reason. When you think about Zubac, you think about Plumlee, you think about Daniel Tice, and I could go out on a limb and say I see no one on the Denver Nuggets that could stop Kawhi Leonard. And you could throw Aaron Gordon out there if you want to. I done seen Kawhi Leonard bust the best of them up. And I'm talking about from LeBron to D-Wade to Giannis to Jimmy Butler to whoever you want to name. So when I think about the Clippers, they have the deepest roster in the team in the league. And on top of that, yes, Michael Malone is the championship coach. But you know who else is a championship coach? Tyronn Lue.
Well, I am not surprised. I am not surprised Denver didn't do anything. They have no tradable first-round picks. I don't care if prime Michael Jordan said, I want to be a Nugget today. They couldn't have traded a first for him. They had 3 tradable second-round picks. That's it. And almost all of their salary is tied up in their top 5 players, none of whom they want to touch. So they didn't have the material. If you're going to talk about the Lakers not being able to do anything, the Nuggets are in the same boat, but they got a better team. So that's and then, they are very expensive,
Go ahead, Bob.
too.
Well, look, then they have to go out, and I think if you're in that front office, you have probably the best player in the NBA right now. We can argue who's the second best with Embiid being out. If Embiid's healthy, you could argue Jokic, Embiid. You got the best player in the prime of his career. You should have a plan. You cannot lose a title because you just didn't have a 6th or 7th man. You have to have one in the buyout then. You're limited in trade options. You have to target a buyout player and get one more veteran. It doesn't have to be a great player. One more guy that can play defense on the perimeter, because you cannot. Again, everybody watched the finals last year, and I'd ask everybody: do they win the championship without Bruce Brown and Jeff Green?
No.
It sounds like a crazy.
Not.
They don't, right? And so we talk about stars and this and that.
Then how are they your favorites, Bob?
Well, really quickly.
Then how are they your favorites
Go ahead, Bob.
right now?
They're my favorites because in a series, I think you picked the team that might give them some trouble. I'm always betting on the best player in the series. And I like Kawhi Leonard. He's had a fantastic year. In my opinion, the gap between Jokic and Kawhi Leonard is still big in a series.
These are
how I see
the updated odds after the trade deadline to win the title. The Nuggets have the second best.
Well, and the thing that I'm saying, Bob, you brought up some great points. The Denver Nuggets, to me, are one of those weird teams that also have a window. They also have a window because when they have to go and re-sign all of these guys, that money is going to go extremely high. Think about the Warriors, right? Look, Aaron Gordon's young, Jamal Murray's young, you got KCP. Obviously, Jokic is going to, the deals that these guys sign. All of a sudden, you start to look at they become a tax team. How far into the tax? Do they go the second apron? So when you look at it, yes, they got 3 second-round picks. If they could get one more player, they can get a championship, in my opinion, like we said about the 2 key players.
Let me just point something out. There's new rules this year.
Yes.
If you are into the first apron, and I know it's boring to talk about the apron.
It's not.
If you are in the first apron, you cannot sign a player who was bought out and then it made more than the average player
on the
salary.
mid-level, right?
So, for example, Spencer Dinwiddie looks like he's getting bought out by the Toronto Raptors. Even if Spencer Dinwiddie wanted to be a Nugget more than anything in the world, they are not allowed to sign him.
Right.
And so the Nuggets are a little bit hamstrung by the new rules and where they're spending.
Let me mention this as well. We talk about the teams that have not made moves. The Nuggets, by not making a move, maybe didn't hurt themselves. Who among the Nuggets' primary, chasers help themselves today?
Nobody.
Right, but
No.
Yeah.
The Thunder, but the Thunder's not ready. The Thunder's not
Phoenix
ready
did.
to catch.
Go ahead,
Phoenix
Bob.
maybe, but the Thunder's not ready to catch them.
Well, and also
even though
the
we like
Clippers
the
already
move.
made their move. The Clippers made their move with James Harden.
Yeah.
I think the Royce O'Neal move was big. I really do. I think that move gives Phoenix exactly what they needed. They do not need any more scoring. They needed perimeter defense. They needed somebody that can close with them. This Durant at the 5 lineup is going to scare other teams to death. You can start Royce O'Neal. You can play him with Grayson out. You can play Royce O'Neal with all their lineups. He's a good perimeter defender. He's shooting, I think, 36, 37 from 3. That's exactly what the Phoenix Suns needed. And I think
You got 4 rings,
but Phoenix is finally coming around. They're playing better.
But what I'm saying is this, Bob. You said, like, KD at the 5, then we just had this. Me and you just went back. And this is some of the conversations you and I used to have when you were my agent, and we used to argue. Because you just said about how Jokic is just the reason you're picking the Nuggets, and then you come back and tell me something about KD being at the 5 and using that to his advantage. Like, if they put KD at the 5 when they match up against the Denver Nuggets, they're going to get smoked. Okay? They're going to get smoked.
Perk, you're right. No one can guard Jokic. Not you in your prime.
That's
not
fine.
anyone.
That's fine.
Which is fine. Nobody can. Durant can't either. The way to beat Denver is not to try to stop Jokic. Picture Jokic guarding Durant. Now, I don't think Phoenix will beat Denver in a series. Okay, I don't. But to beat Denver in a series, you don't try to say we're gonna get somebody to stop Jokic. You might say, okay, we can't guard you. You try guarding Durant. I still think Denver beats in a series, but I think we're talking about who helped themselves.
Yeah.
I think Phoenix helped themselves. I think Gordon Hayward helps OKC. Are they enough to make the Nuggets keep the Nuggets out of the West, out of representing the West?
Yeah.
I'm on fire. It's NBA,